Well, hello everyone. Just another video here. We're gonna start working on this now that I got some kind of decent weather. It's supposed to be summer, but pretty cloudy out. Anyway, here's the Mega Cab. We'll just take you for a little tour around it. All right, so here is the Mega Cab. If you remember from the introduction video, I think this is the one where I had bought for $2,000 off the marketplace from a gentleman. He had actually got it at an auction because it had been totaled. Had a good 5.9 motor there, but he pulled it out, put it in another truck he had, and put this blown one in here. And when I brought it to my place, he said he would swing by and pull it out because it was just sitting in there in the motor mounts, everything disconnected. Anyway, last year was really rainy summer. You never got a chance to come get it. I pulled it out a couple days ago and messaged him, said, hey, I got it pulled out if you want to come get it. And he's like, nah, you can have it. So asked him what's wrong, and then I discovered it on my own. Got a hole in the block here, but he said the whole upper end's good, injectors, fuel rail, the head, all the whole upper section, just about everything else on it is pretty good. So I think he said it's a new alternator. So anyway, I'll probably piece this out or maybe sell the whole thing as an aftermarket thing for someone to work on, or maybe replace if they're interested. Anyway, let's go back here. We'll take a bigger look. So this truck actually had been hit on this passenger side. I'd already replaced this door here. I've got another door to replace this one, but there was some damage down here. I may have to replace this whole little section right here, which is fine. We, figured out we could do it after the bed repair, so not too big of a deal. I think we can fix that. And other than that, it was in really good shape. He threw this bed on here from another truck and took the good bed off of it, which is fine. Maybe I'll patch this one up and see if I can't sell it on the marketplace or something. Anyway, we'll continue the little walk around here. So it's pretty easy so far for me to get everything apart because the engine and everything was already done. I had already taken some of the other parts off, the fenders and things that were damaged. I've already got replacement fenders for both sides. And here's the driver's side. Pretty good shape. I think the only real thing was a little cracked window there. And you might be able to see it. This guy had a camper shell on it when he wrecked it, and it's got a little ding up there at the top, which we'll fix. But anyway, got this thing all unbolted, ready to take that off. I've got the cab all unbolted. Might have a couple little connectors I need to make sure they're unhooked before I start pulling it off. But we're gonna get after it here pretty quick. The one thing I did want to show, so this actually did have a front bent frame. And if you can see right down here, you can see it's moved over about an inch. And it's the same on both sides. And it looks like maybe right in this section here with the paint is where it kind of tweaked a little bit. I can't quite figure out on that side exactly where it bent, but both sides are exactly about 1 inch out. So I can't decide what I'm gonna do yet. When I get the cab and the bed off the quad cab, I might just replace this front section. So there's 3 different sections, factory splices. So you got the front, the middle, and then the back end for the long bed section. So maybe I'll end up keeping the middle section, replacing this front section from the quad cab, which is in perfect condition, and then switch on over and put the long bed section on the back half. I am going to be using the front and rear end from these. If you've never checked, there is actually a website, Mopar. You can enter your VIN number. It'll tell you everything that your truck came with when it was produced from the factory. And believe it or not, my 09 3500 did not have a posi traction rear end. It had an open differential, and it had 412 gears. This one actually has a positive rear end and 3 7/3 gears, which is going to be better for towing and those type of things. So I want to keep the front and rear ends off this truck and swap them out. And the gentleman that previously owned the truck before it was crashed had a bunch of the components in the front end replaced with some Carly ball joints, things like that. It's hard to see, but he had all newer upgraded brakes and calipers and everything installed too. So the front end's actually good shape. So a lot of this stuff I'm going to go ahead and keep. So as you see here, got this frame. A little buddy of mine brought this over. We're gonna get it moved in position. So you can give me a hand, and this is what I'm gonna use to lift the cab off so I can roll the frame right out from underneath it and get to work on it. So as you can see, there's the bed that we worked on in a previous video, and I got this Lear camper shell, which at least for up here was a steal. 900 bucks. I've been looking for one for probably 5 years, and every time they're on the marketplace, people want $2,000 or $3,000 for them. Super spendy. Happened to catch this one, 3rd gen long bed. I've already actually mounted it onto the bed, and it fits perfect. No broken glass anywhere. The only thing I need to do is replace the locks for the T-handles because he didn't have keys for them. But other than that, great find. We'll get it paint matched, everything else when we get going on it. Anyway, I want to get some stuff moved, and let's get started on this and document the rest of this build. Okay gang, we are back. Here's some pictures of the setup. Got everything moved in place, got the cab all hooked up, little frame built underneath to lift her all up and get it up off the frame and taken care of. And here you can see it is all done. All right, got the frame out. Got it sitting on the cab, sitting on this frame that I built to lift it up off the frame of the truck itself. And there is the frame. Oh, and here's the sections. There's actually, I think, 4 sections total. So you got the factory splice here at the very back end. And then you have your factory splice, which is right here for the actual long bed section. So this is where I'm gonna be cutting. I'm gonna cut this factory seam in here. I'll take the back end off the long bed, and this is where I'll attach that. Then you have a middle section right in here. Here's the other factory seam, which is the middle. And like I had mentioned, if this looks like it'll be too much of a pain in the butt to try to straighten the front end of the frame just that little bit, I will probably just cut it here at this section, remove this front half, and put the one from the long bed quad cab on there. That section should be the same. Shouldn't have any problems with body mounts or anything because it's the front half of the truck. But there you have it. So we're gonna get things moved around, get some more work done, and I'll be right back with you. And we are back, and I've this all moved, all stripped down, ready to start cutting here pretty quick. I'm probably going to put in that cross brace there just because I'm probably going to be pulling this front section out. And there's the cat, Brian. Anyway, got it all taken care of there. Actually got wife's car charging up the batteries on the quad cab long bed. Gonna bring that out and get it set up because the next step, I think I'm gonna pull the cab on that and the bed, and then let the engine sit in there when I remove the cab. And that way I can kind of start comparing frames and looking at stuff before I start really diving in and cutting anything out. So anyway, I'll get a shot of the truck as I fire it up and bring it out. And I'll be right back. Okay, we're gonna bring the quad cab out. This was my pride and joy. You'll see what kind of a mess she is now, but it should fire up now. So anyway, let's take a look at her. Anyway, there you go. There she is. So this will be the power plant for the new truck. Engine, transmission, transfer case, exhaust. You can see all the other garbage in the back. Pieces I've taken off. Pretty rough shape, but it's all external body part damage. None of it is internal. So anyway, that'll about do it for now. We'll get back with you as soon as we get started on the next part. Well, welcome back, boys and girls. As you can see, now I've got the quad cab up off the frame. Here's the 6.7. Sorry about any wind or sunlight here. And transmission. There's my AirDog 2 lift pump. I do have airbags on this one as well. Now that I got two systems, I'm not sure what I want to do. Swap it out. Mine looks a little bit better. Anyway, here we got this one up in the air, all disconnected. I got the dash out earlier and steering column. So that's going to be a paint project. Get that thing all black like the rest of it. I'm about going to call it a day. It's Father's Day, and all I've done is work on this all day long. Of course, my kids are grown and gone in either college or living their own lives, so they said hi. So any of you that followers out there, happy Father's Day. Well, here we are, folks, back again, and you can kind of see my own personal Dodge graveyard going on here, wrecking yard. Anyway, got everything moved, kind of put in place, and just kind of looking at the two differences on these frames and doing some measuring and looking. The one on the left is the Mega Cab 2500. It actually does have a bent frame, so I'm actually going to use the front half of the quad cab frame. So I'll separate that at the factory seam. Don't know if any of you have got to see these two frames kind of side by side. They're almost exactly the same size, which was new to me. I wasn't aware of that. Got my handy 2x4 holding up my fuel tank arm there so I don't crease it and mess it up anymore. But yeah, and there's the one I just got off yesterday. The other one a few days for that. But let's go over here and kind of take a look at these frames real quick, and I'll point out a couple things that I noticed when doing these. So here you can see the carrier bearing mount, and this would be the start of the short bed, and then you can see on the long bed that it's back up there, and of course there isn't a carrier bearing, so I got a big long drive shaft on my truck. The other thing is, I thought all these sections were the same size. So if you go to the end of the frame here, up to this first section right here, that one's about 3 feet. I measured this one over here. This is actually 3 foot 2 inches. So a little bit longer difference, but not really something super hard or you would ever notice. And then the second section From here all the way down along the frame to here, this one was actually about an inch longer. So, and that was just measuring, you know, seam to seam. That wasn't actually welding the whole piece. So, but other than that, everything else is pretty much the same, except for the body mounts. Of course, you can see 6 body mounts for the mega cab and 4 for the quad cab. But this front section, exactly the same, so I'm not going to have any problem at all separating right here. Oops, sorry about that. Right here on this section for the front end, and the same over there, and put it on this front swap mount. Anyway, I'm heading out, go back to work, so I'm gonna not be able to work on the truck for a couple weeks, but if you got any questions, I'll be able to answer, and I'll post some more videos as soon as I get a chance. I think the next part we're going to start on is either I'm going to start cutting into the frames, or I may start first swapping these rear ends and front ends so I can have the ones I want. And then of course we got to start tearing that one down a little bit to be able to get to the frames. So anyway, any questions, comments, feel free to ask, and I'll answer as soon as I possibly can. And if you like this stuff, go ahead and like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and we'll catch you all later. Thanks for watching.